Dear colleagues, good day to everyone. We are ready to start. All the speakers are on the stage. And first of all, I would like to give the floor to our distinguished guest, Mr. Faraj Halal Salim Afrihani, Minister of Technical Education of Libya. Dear guests, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I greet you with the... And first of all, I would like to thank you, everyone. I would like to stress the importance of today's topic. Regulating and standardization instruments are very important for every country, and they need to protect the development of the economy and industry.
У него нет текста, но этот читает по тексту. Надо читать.
This event reflects our joint commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and international cooperation between our country. This forum in its 15th session is nothing but evidence of the desire to work to achieve the best, as it represents a meeting point for various researchers in various fields. And from various countries, and seeks to unify efforts to serve nations and shed light on the most important problems and develop proposed solutions to them. And the exchange of opinions and scientific ideas among all those interested in scientific fields between societies, in the hope that this event will achieve its desired goals, desired hopes, and great aspirations in accordance with what was planned by the supervising authorities, and then come up with recommendations and solutions to the problem and challenges. In light of the current challenges facing Islamic countries and friendly countries, from policies of expansion, unipolar hegemony, spreading strife and conflicts, environmental pollution, and food insecurity, the importance of intensification and unity to confront these challenges is highlighted, and the events taking place now in Sudan, Palestine, and Gaza are nothing but evidence and testimony to the injustice and dangers that go beyond all international laws and norms. And in these critical moments, we call on everyone to unite and stand in solidarity to overcome this crisis and work together for a better future, communicating facts and raising awareness among nations and peoples, to build bridges of understanding and peace and provide food security through the stability of Islamic and Arab countries on the two continents. African and Asian countries are an essential pillar to ensure a prosperous future, and investing in sustainable agriculture, infrastructure development, and strengthening food supply chains are all vital steps towards achieving self-sufficiency and reducing poverty and starvation policies. Let us work together to adopt policies that encourage innovation and improve agricultural productivity to ensure access to food for everyone and support economic growth. And also, I would like to highlight that educational problems are the necessary part of our work. We need to level up the educational problems to solve problems of our business clients, to improve technologies. That is the basis of our development. We need to use modern technologies, AI, to solve these problems. And these strategies can allow us and can allow our companies to move forward to the brighter future. Moreover, I would like to give you some examples on what we are working right now in the field of IT security and data analysis. These instruments are a crucial part of our work, and they are necessary in different fields, starting from medicine and to agriculture industry. These instruments are very important for future development, and I want to highlight once again that education is very important for our future development. We need to seriously work on these processes and we need to use modern technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchains in education to form new soft skills, hard skills for our students so that we can form new workplaces and we can form great conditions to develop new technologies in the future. All the education centers need to get access to fast internet connection so that they can continue the educational process. We need to level up the educational level for professors and all the teachers working in the educational sphere. Technical and digital industries are in need of new brains that can improve their skills so that in future our government will have positive effect. And of course, there is a relation between good access to internet and educational success in my country, in Libya, and we use these modern technologies, AI, networks, to form new soft skills for our students. And these instruments are a driver of our progress, of our future, and they take a big part in all the social life aspects, starting from medicine and to agricultural industry, so that all the people of our country can get all the needed services, can form their own better life, and every student can get the education they need to form their professional skills, even in the small cities where less people can have access to a good education. Also, I'd like to highlight that technical education is an important part for startups, for small businesses, and we need to cooperate. We need to form a relation between universities and business. In conclusion, I would like to say that it is the only way for our future. So the ministry is doing everything they can.
Большое. Now let's get more practical in the sphere of technical regulation. Everything is built on the standards of the Russian Federation by the institutions that are responsible for that, and this is a ROS standard. I would like to give the floor to head of the standardization department of ROS Standard, Irina Shuvalova. And she will be speaking on the role of ROS Standard in international standardization. Hello, dear friends, dear colleagues. I'm glad to greet all of you on behalf of ROS Standard. So the improvement in technological sovereignty is one of the priority tasks which is for the Russian Federation one of the crucial points to manufacture the production the products of the priority, and our president have signed the decree on main direction for the implementation of these targets, and one of those is standardization as a tool for the development of industries. We are aiming to become one of the 30 leading countries in the world in radio electronics, machine building, medicine, chemistry, and other branches. And of course, we are aiming to implement domestic software. The government of the Russian Federation approved strategies for a number of industries, and all of these documents envision the conditions for innovational potential development for improving the competitiveness in these industries. And in these strategic documents we stipulate the main tasks in standardization. So we are developing new mechanisms and create new ones to implement innovations and implement technologies, relevant technologies. So digitalization is one of the key approaches to improve the tools for standardization. Every year we approve the program for standardization, and these are standards that are to be developed as new ones, or we have to replace the previous standards with new ones. And they are closely related with the development of industries. And of course, such documents are in place to make sure the strategical goals are reached. Of course, business interests are taken into account, and we actually approved 52.6 standards developed on the initiative of and at the expense of business. And it takes about 7.5 months to this is the average time for the development of national standards. We imply the involvement of state corporations and private sector to scale the best practices, and these works are being conducted on the basis of the standards we have in place, and we have got a number of mechanisms for the development of documents like production of national standards and test it for and compare it with best practices. We also have the opportunity to register these standards so we can develop some local standard, and it is working when it is necessary to quickly implement a certain technology and start manufacturing. We provide the consistent development of domestic industry, reacting in a quick mode to different challenges. And I would like to emphasize a few works that we are conducting right now. First of all, it's oil and gas sector. In 2024, we didn't have any documents that would be related to subsea resources, and on the basis of other international standards that we have, we took them as the basis for operation of our companies. And when these foreign organizations started leaving Russian market, of course, we had to substitute these documents with some other framework, and our program was created, where we have already approved about 170 new standards. Similar works are being done in LNG and other trucks. We are also working for the development of standards on the basis of the international standards and our own developments and R&D. And our goal is economic stability and industrial safety. Another interesting area is railway transport. We have more than 430 standards in this field, so we are developing pretty quickly. The fund is being populated with new standards, and these works lead to safety of the railway transport and logistics, and providing better services. Of course, we would like to mention the activities for creating standards in the pipe industry. There were more than 130 standards developed on the initiative and at the expense of business for various industries to reduce the costs and improving the production. It's worth mentioning also the field of road management, automotive roads. So now we have developed more than 220 standards from 2018 to 2024. So developing innovative technologies that are really important for economy as a whole and the industry of the country. Another important field is building materials. Actualization here is being conducted since 2017, and we reduced twofolds the average time needed to create these frameworks. So the standardization is continuing, and we expect it to be even more active. What do these standards bring to us? It's safety, cost reduction. It's a mechanism and tool for supporting the industry. We've done a lot as different funds are showing us, and of course we need to do a lot more, and we will do our best, make all the necessary efforts to develop the basic standards to enable the industries to start manufacturing necessary products in the shortest terms possible. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, you may ask them. Thank you so much, Irina. And I would like to give the floor to Deputy Co-Chairman of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs Committee on Industrial Policy and Technical Regulation, Andrei Lotsmanov. His topic is dedicated to the role of technical regulation and standardization in ensuring the sustainable development of oil and gas complex of the Russian Federation. Dear colleagues, hello everyone. Yes, and I would tell you about Russian industry about new technical regulation and standards. So my role is a deputy co-chairman of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs, which unites more than 300,000 companies such big as RŽD, Gazprom, and many others, and more than 150,000 SME enterprises. And we actually are responsible for about 70% of the GDP in terms of production. So we pay a great deal of attention to standardization, and as Napoleon said, a country that does not develop its own the people who do not want to feed their army will soon be forced to feed someone else's. So we won't work on the basis of other countries' standards. So we can see what happened some time ago. There was a great plant in Hungary which was called Icarus. It is not existing anymore, and there are so many objects in Western Europe which were de-industrialized after the collapse of the Soviet Union. So we need to preserve the standardization system that is in place. We have a committee of industrial policy and technical regulation, and our goal is to involve the industries in the development of technical frameworks of standardization. And we pay a great deal of attention to oil and gas. We have interdisciplinary union for standardization in oil and gas complex, and we are conducting conference, 18th conference, and the decision of the first conference like that was creation of the International Council in NGK, Neftegas Standard Conference. So we created the industrial system of standardization that was integrated pretty well to domestic and international standardization systems. And one of the key decisions of our conference was creating TC, and it actually was first done in 2017, and we have developed more than 372 national standards, and we also developed a few international standards. So if we didn't have this fund of our own standards, we would not be able to solve the issue of import substitution, and in the under the conditions of international sanctions, we wouldn't be able to continue oil and gas industry activities in a proper way. So now we can solve these issues pretty effectively. One more important decision of our council was the federal law on standardization in the Russian Federation that was adopted in June 2015, and it enabled us not only to preserve but also to develop domestic system of national standardization, and it actually took all the advantages and best practices of international standards and allowed us to use references to international standards. In certain cases, we are able to provide the quick provision of the necessary solution. And the operational committee is working on solving the issues if there are any arguments and certain issues that demand additional discussion. We have more than 400 NPAs which contain references to more than 2,000 standards, and more than 71% of state procurement are done on the basis of national standards. In the beginning of 2000s, there were people who told that there were no standards needed, and the development of standards was pretty low. And within these years, working closely with Minpромtorg, Rosstandard, we reached the level of about 1,700 to 1,800 standards per year. About half of these are developed not only for the industry, but are financed by the industries to protect the market, to deliver innovational production to the market, and to solve the issues related to import substitution. In 2022, we were incurred certain sanctions by European Organization of Standardization, American standardization organizations, and a number of other organizations that stopped offering their standards to Russia. And a number of surveys left the Russian market who actually confirmed their standards and their compliance. But together with Minpромtorg, Rosstandard, Rosaccreditation, and industry, we solved these issues pretty successfully at the point. And we successfully implement international standards. And as for pipe industry, for example, it made it possible to supply our pipes even for export supplies, and we renewed our production. We have invested more than 470 billion rubles of private investments into this sector, and pipe production was supplied to more than 80 countries of the world. And this is a standard algorithm: scientific development, technology, production, standardization, and delivering innovative products, letting it entering the markets. So this is an example of scientific technology centers providing new technologies and new standards for the industry, which enables us to solve a lot of issues. And our industry is fully supplied with locally produced pipes, and we extend BRICS, more and more new countries entering, including Muslim countries. 17 countries applied for joining BRICS. This year we will have BRICS summit, and in July we'll have a conference dedicated to standardization in BRICS countries. And of course we will be talking about further cooperation between BRICS countries in standardization and technical regulation. And in a number of international organizations, Anglo-Saxon colleagues are trying to isolate not only Russia and Belarus, but a number of other countries from this process. And we have a lot of things to offer for international standardization. Last year we have approved a so-called smart standard that enables us to implement the machine understood standards. So machine readable standards. It means that our enterprises, our companies, our plants start collaborating and communicating not at the level human to human, but the level machine to machine. And So these machine-readable standards are really important. So we are continuing this work on smart standards, and in November we expect a conference that is called Neftegas Standard 2024. It will be held between November 20 to 22 in the city of Samara. I invite all of you to join this conference, and this is an international conference. Please come over. International specialists will take place, so we'll be very glad to see you, our partners from Muslim countries. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andrei. It was so nice speech. And our first speakers have already told us about what work had been done in the sphere of standardization and technical regulation. But this sphere is not only about forming these documents, adopting these documents, but also how to use them. And I would like to give the floor to David Gogotishvili, the Deputy General Director of Gazprom Vnigas. Good day to everyone, dear colleagues. Thank you so much for opportunity to be here. This is a great opportunity for me. Kazan Forum is a big event, and maybe sometimes you'll hear the same points that have already been said, but we are working in the joint sphere, we are working together, so recent 2 years, on the basis of our institute, we have joined our production sites. And right now we have more than 2,500 workplaces, and we are working together to fixate all the standardization documents, and I will present them later. First of all, I would like to say that our company, Gazprom, we are working together with Rostandard, and thank you so much, Rostandard, for the support in standardization. And we are working on interstate, international levels. On the national level, we are working on expertise, on control and monitoring of all the processes. And we are working together with our Chinese colleagues on business-to-business level. We already have some success and results. Thank you so much. We have formed our joint bilateral standardization. We are working with the universities, and we are working on corporate standardization too. We reviewed the standardization font. Right now we have more than 3,000 documents, and our standardization right now, last year, we reviewed the standardization documents. What is the standard way to the quality? Of course, the most important, our goal is quality, and we are working with the international certification bodies. Of course, Rostandard is helping us a lot, and despite the current situation when all the Western companies left Russian market, but we work together in the International Technological Commission number 23 and number 52 on the liquefied natural gas. We are members of a great number of commissions, committees, universities, institutions, and of course, in the field of corporate standardization, we are working with our competitors and companies. So I have already told about Technical Commission number 23 and number 52. Of course, these are the leading commissions, leading committees that are working on the standardization. Unfortunately, our minister has to leave us. He's very sorry. Goodbye, have a nice day. So, where did I stop? International Technical Commission has become the leader. And thank you so much to Rostandard for this positive effect. Thank you so much. We are preparing all of the technical regulations, taking part in forming them. Okay, moving forward. On this slide, you can see what countries are working with us. There are a lot of Islamic countries. And of course, we are working on international standardization. You can see all the countries listed there. As for technical regulation in our company, I have already said that in 2023 we adopted a new technical regulation, new technical standard, and the main goal of this is increasing competitiveness of our company. And of course, this standardization was formed on the basis of openness, systematic innovation, and we are doing our best to control and monitor the process of realization of this standard. And of course, it helps us to develop the... My colleague, Mr. Andrei, has already said about pipe industry, and this is a great example how we work together with pipe manufacturing companies. We are making pipes with a big diameter and pressure over 150 atmospheres. For example, these pipes were used in Sibir 2, the second, and this document has become the federal level document, and all the companies right now in Russia can use this standard. So this is the work that we have done. We are using all the technical results, scientific researches. For example, in Kopeysk-Chelyabinsk region, we have implemented a new project, and we are using new technologies to test and examine these new technologies in piping industry. So if you have a chance to go to Chelyabinsk, we welcome you to check by yourself. Of course, we are going on the digitalization and modernization of the world. We are heading to systemize all the work that we've done. We have more than 150 professionals in this field, and we have an object, a laboratory, a platform where all the members can exchange their knowledge, their skills, and they vote for new standards, for new regulations, and of course Technical Commission number 23 is the leading one. And our institution was formed in 1992. This is non-governmental organization, but right now government is helping us a lot, and we are working with customs union. We are working with voluntary certification. We are making all the tests automatically in our own system that cannot allow you to substitute the results of the examination, and we are ready to share our experience with you. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, dear David. And I'd like to give the floor to next speaker, Project Director of Federal State Russian Energy Agency, Alexander Savinov. The topic on issues of technical regulation and standardization of the oil and gas complex in the modern conditions. Good day to everyone. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. I'm so glad to be here. Petrochemical complex and technical regulations, all the issues are very important in the modern world. We all know that current world has been changed, and petrochemical industry has been changed too. So on the slide you can see all the technical regulations that have been adopted by Customs Union and by Russian petrochemical complex. I will not copy them. You can see them on the slide. They are adopted already and they are working already. All the transition periods have been ended. Today, we are working on preparing new changes to regulations, and we are doing this on the basis on the results of previous regulations. Republic of Belarus and the Russian Federation are working together on the preparing these documents. For example, technical regulation of Customs Union number 30 on lubricants, oil and special liquids. We are preparing the descriptions of the crucial moments of the crucial products and what other regulations, what are the requirements on this regulation. As for special products, there are some exceptions, there are some exclusions. For example, lubricants in similar packaging. And currently we are holding some meetings on these questions. We are preparing for a commission in the Republic of Kazakhstan together with our competitors. And what are we planning to do now? We are preparing to prepare a norm on hydrogen sulfide content in oil. In the current version, it's 20 ppm, and we are planning to make it up to 100 ppm. And in the Republic of Belarus, there are some work been doing. They are preparing the results to be published in the August of this year. In 2023, we have prepared the profile of oil. We are making researches, we are making examinations and preparing the list of changes. The technical regulation of the Eurasian Economic Union on the safety of natural gas that has been published in 22 years. So the transition period has been continued to 2025, then January the 1st. This was the offering from Kazakhstan side. They are doing some construction works, and we agreed to prolong this period up to 2025 year. So the Kazakhstan colleagues, they prepared all the necessary documents. We have made our decision, and we agreed to it. Gazprom is preparing a draft of changes, terminology, description correction, and exclusion of non-standardized gas requirements from applications. We are preparing to publish and finish this offering by the end of this year. Last year, this year, we are working on reviewing the technical regulation of the Eurasian Economic Union. On the slide, you can see the new technical regulations. In 2024 was declined the technical regulations. Some technical regulations has been cancelled. Some of them, and we know that the crude oil is a raw material, and according to the researchers, we have made some changes. So there is no need to provide these documents for imported materials. Technical regulation number 30 will be published for working group, for committee, and then the decision will be made. The technical committees for standardization are a party of petrochemical industry. We have made some conclusions and find out the most important questions that we are working on right now. We believe that these questions, these issues are not helping us to develop, but otherwise they are stopping us from the future development. The first question, the first issue is the establishment of voluntary application in standards, and we offer a solution to fix the prohibition on the use of expressions in the fundamental standards and unify these standards. There are a lot of treatment on the federal level, a lot of opinions on this document, and we are preparing the changes to this regulation as on a federal level. And we totally believe that we need to do this because when we monitor and examine the quality control on all the level, federal and municipal levels, we find problems. And the second problem is inclusion in the member of technical committees of affiliated organization. There are some daughter companies, and sometimes during voting, these companies are voting in the same way for the same decision. So this is not fair to other members of committee, and they have the same remarks, like they have been copied. So we need to review the members of the committee, and the applicants should be listed in prepared. The third problem is the intersection of the areas of activity on the technical committees. Right now we are working on unifying all the documents, and I believe that we will achieve some positive goals. The fourth problem issue is the low activity of the members of the technical committee. Some of them are doing great job, but some of them not. And we need to make some criteria for the committee.
Sure. So the presence proper is fine, but technical committees are created to make certain decisions, but not just representing concrete organization. And another one, lack of motivation among oil and gas companies in the development of standards. So it's low relevance is a big problem for national standards developed on the basis of state budgets. And so there is a lack of financing in this process, slows down the work in this direction. So we have developed a number of standards for the account of industrial participants, companies proper. If we reach this figure up to 80%, then we'll be really able to provide high level of standardization in terms of promoting it, because our main goal is promoting the goods not only for domestic market but for the international market first of all. And of course we address to oil and gas companies to pay attention when forming their investment plans, pay attention to this issue, because the revision of the standards should imply subsidizing standardization work that will lead us to developing first turn standards, because time is going and it's passing, and of course the companies know very well what they need right away. And the program we are planning to implement in this during this year, it will actually aim those urgent needs that we are facing right now. Ministry of Energy created and have them functioning. Sorry, I didn't switch the slide. There are two working groups. First of all, the work group on issues of regulatory support for accounting for extracted, stored and transported hydrocarbon raw materials, produced, stored and marketed products of its processing, and the working group on issues of technical regulation of the activities of organizations of the oil and gas complex. So these are companies that are participating, actually big companies and smaller companies are participating in these work groups. And we are adjusting our tactics as of now and taking into consideration international standards, technical regulations and standardization. And the result of these work groups meetings, we have come up to this program for working on this joint standard. So actually these groups have been working since 2010, and they proved themselves to be efficient tools in our industry. Currently the working groups are considering the following projects: draft of standard oil methods for determining the content of organochlorine compounds in oil using analyzers. It is related to with the development of new analyzers of chromatography character that is able to measure the concentration of oil in organochlorine compounds, which is closely related, of course, with some events a few years ago where chlororganics penetrated the pipeline. So the safety of our objects is key, and of course when chlororganic compounds come or get into the flow, the consequences might be really severe. Another one is proposals for amendments of TRICU 013 on requirements for automotive and aviation gasoline, diesel, and marine fuel, jet fuel and fuel oil. And we need to have some corrections in there. New edition of the gas accounting rules. We are working with our working groups. We expect the result in a month or 1 month and a half, and we expect its registration with the Ministry of Justice. And another one is formation of a program for the development of priority standards in the field of the oil and gas complex. And to react the challenges we face in oil and gas industry, we have created the interdisciplinary group, which is working closely together with producers, manufacturers, and R&D organizations. And on the basis of the data introduced by Minpромtorg, the level of import increased from 43% to 62% by 2023, according to the Ministry of Industry and Trade. And the Commission of Import Substitution is actively working with export branches organizations. It enables them to sign long-term contracts with oil companies and machine building enterprises. That is a really important factor, because when the equipment is manufactured without the opinion of or requests of the final consumers, this is an important factor in the process. Sometimes manufacturer produces the product which do not comply with the requirements of the customer, final client. And currently, in accordance with paragraph 15 of the program of formation of common markets for oil and petroleum products of the Union, we are working on the recommendations for harmonization of metrological requirements for measuring the quality and indicators of gas and oil. We have work groups on the development of draft recommendations of the board of the Eurasian Economic Commission, and to develop a draft recommendation of the board of the Eurasian Economic Commission on the harmonization and metrological requirements. So there is one thing here to pay attention to. Eurasian Commission is to be aware, and all of the stakeholders have to know that recommendations are recommendations. Of course, there is certain legislation in place, but in the framework of our recommendations, the changes or any amendments to these documents by the countries participants of Eurasian Commission countries. So, for example, we can have certain requirements on the territory of the Russian Federation for meteorological and either recommendations. These requirements might, for example, be articulated a little bit differently and called just recommendations for your consideration. This is, it should be an obligatory clause to avoid leading it to some violations. We believe that we have to be very strict about it, and we have to keep our position strong and make a correct decision at the end of the day. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them. Have a great day, and good luck to everyone.
Спасибо большое, Александр Гурч.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I would like to give the floor to our next speaker regarding the possibility of convergence of standardization system used in the participating countries. Nadezhda Volkova, director of the non-profit educational institution Research and Training Center, Control and Diagnostics. Dear friends, dear participants, esteemed colleagues, thank you for this word of introduction. And my speech is related to all of these reports we have already heard, but this is mostly related to our experience working on the international market in the framework of the Russian non-destructive control society that had been working for quite a long time, and with welding structures. Officially it was this activity was stopped, but unofficially it is still continued. And this experience enabled us to consider all the standards for the equipment that is produced on the basis of welding technologies. And this particular experience gives us an opportunity to make an analysis, to conduct an analysis what opportunities in terms of standardization are there for the countries, both Muslim world and BRICS countries in general. If we look at this chart, you can see that we consider all the 6 major regions and unifications of organization, regional organization related to standardization. All of these organizations are collaborating with international ISO organization. And if you look at this from another perspective, from the point of view of BRIC countries, we can see that practically all of these 6 regional organization members are members of BRICS. I'm not talking about full-fledged countries, members, but also considering those countries which applied to become BRICS members. So we have close contacts with them, including the issues of welding technologies and methods of testing. Here I gave the quote of the Shalaev Anton, head of the Federal Agency for Technical Regulation and Metrology. He says that the strategy of standardization can become the common ground for all of the BRICS countries, and the analysis of these strategies of all of these international organizations shows that all of them have their own mission, goals, and priorities from the standpoint of their regional direction, the level of their development, time of the formation of the organization. But all of them have 4 major key drivers: economy, technologies, society, and the environment. If we look at these priorities, it's development of the manufacturing and service sectors and domestic trade. Another one is protecting customers, environmental protection, and public health. And the third one is economic development, preservation of the achievements of the member states, assistance in reducing technical barriers to trade. And this stance is actually is related to all of our countries. In this system of cooperation and communication is showing us that there is a system which ties all of these regional organizations with an international organization. And on the other hand, we see that there is another gravitation or gravity center which is being created that is having a goal to reduce the barriers in trade and having the opportunity to take advantage of those developments and technologies from those countries that are strong in a certain field. And this is achievable in the framework of certain standards. And to obtain the basics of harmonization, we have to found it, to base it on the on a certain type of standards interference. And the focal point here is to drive the further development. ISO is an international organization and is a basis for harmonization in the framework of the agreement that is developed in the framework of BRICS countries. And the commission which we created in BRICS on standardization. But our colleagues mentioned today there are standards that relate to branch standards or certain industry standards. What I would like to show you here, there are two options, two variants of standards that we can analyze. First of all, these are standards IPI. Where is the issue here? The national standard of one country tries to extrapolate its features to other countries, and there are and other countries have their own standards, and of course everything is in the development. And where is the issue here? The issue here is that the domination of one country is created, and the attempt to impose other countries, including Islamic countries, just these standards while stressing their importance. And to analyze the efficiency of such a system, Russian raw standard, along with our Iranian standardization organization, we have created a project on harmonizing Russian and Iranian standards for oil and gas equipment that is produced in Russia, supplied to Iran, and yes, in the framework of certain project. What was that based on? On the preliminary work when one of the Russian organizations, Scientific Technical Center for Cycling Energy project, they have analyzed 2.5 thousand American and international standards and they compared them in compliance with Russian standardization projects. The unification, the compliance was about 85%. The rest was related to sea and subsea recovery of oil. That's where they tried to base their work only on international standards, and in a certain way the Institute of Oil and Gas, which we already mentioned today, they have already covered these standards and the work is still ongoing. So what was this Center of Standardization was involved with as well? They have been working with international standards for about 25 years and was accredited as an international organ or international institution for standardization. It is still working with European partners, with international partners, and a great deal of work was dedicated to our partners from Iran, Iraq, India, Singapore, and they are still working with South Korea.
Проект.
So what was the aim, what was the goal of this project? So first of all, it is an analysis of the sufficiency of the requirements in Iran and Russia for the special types of oil and gas equipment. So separators, oil and gas separators, and gas devices, gas detection devices. It is very interesting to see the details. So the analysis was done on the basis of Iranian equipment, and Iran requirement standards were made not only on the basis of the Iran requirements, but they are linked to the American standards or ISO standards. So we compared Russian national standards and Russian national standards. So the next slide shows us that on the upside are the mandatory requirements in Russia. There are technical requirements in Russia and customs union, and in Iran. The upper level of the standards. On the middle part of the slide, we can see the linked standards, and the international standard here is only ISO. But in Russia, we name that as Russian national standard. And we see that the requirements in the ISO standards and Russian standards are the same. But ISO is the thing that is used as a basis in all the countries. And if we check these separators for petrochemical industry, we can see that there is a Russian technical regulation documents and foreign standards and codes of practice. There are not only Iran standards, but almost all of them are the ISO standards. So we have bilateral way to enter the unified way. Using the unified system, we can add our own national peculiarities that has some relations to that are related to nature, to climate. So what are the results of the analysis? A comparison of the technical parameters and requirements for the design, manufacture, and metrological support of equipment for measuring the quantity and quality of LPG. That this is aggregate requirements for the design and manufacture of LPG. And we have also compared the metrological bases and metrological equipment. Even this equipment had the same specifications, technical data, because all the countries are members of one organization. I can give you another example where we can use the ISO standards to harmonize the equipment requirements on the international level. For example, the project that has been developing in the framework of INTI organization. So vertically organized petrochemical enterprises in Russia use the same system as IPI. IPI, to be honest, also is the same organization, but consisting of American members. But in our organization, we are inviting not only American members, not only our country members, but also Islam organizations and Islam Arab countries. And we have the requirement that chief leaders can be only vertically integrated USA petrochemical enterprises, and after that they force us to use their standards. Right now on this slide you can see another example on centrifugal compressors and expander compressors. We have compared iron standards and INTI standards, but IPI standards are the same with the standards ISO. They actually are the same standards. And when we analyzed the technical position, the technical specification, they have the same requirements, they have the same mandatory requirements, so we can research and develop new technologies according to the standards. So this analysis was being done by a company that has more than 20-year expertise and experience in different types of industries. We have been working with different types of equipments, and we have different methods of analysis. And on the slide, you can see our partners, previous partners and current partners. This is one of the last slides. I would like to move to another question. This is technical regulation question. On this slide, I would like to mention that we plan to develop new documents, to prepare new documents for mandatory regulations on the basis of technical regulations of customs union. On the one side, we have Russian requirements, and on the other side, the requirements of other countries that we need to unify, especially Islamic countries. And you can see that in black, we have highlighted the conditions for supplies and methods of monitoring and tests. But in blue, there are expertise, inspection, and as for industrial products safety, we don't have the same regulations, but we have but Eurasian Economical Union has big experience, and all the products have been separated by their types, by the spheres. Actually, the methods of analysis of regulating the quality of products are almost the same. We have the same knowledge. And the last but not least, there is a data about Russian Educational Center. If you have any questions, I am ready to answer. I'm willingly answer to them. Our company is working together with the Ministry of Economy and Industry, and we are dealing with all the questions about standardization and metrology, and also a substitute of import substitute for welding equipment. Thank you so much, Nadezhda. I would like to ask if there is a possibility to connect to the Uzbekistan. So I'd like to give the floor to Lena Kvitkova, Head of Department of the State Institution Research Institute of Standardization, Certification and Technical Regulation of the Uzbek Agency for Technical Regulations. So,
К сожалению, у нас там...
unfortunately, we have some technical problems. So let's move to Bakatbek Shabdanov, Head of the Department of Technical Regulation and Metrology of the Ministry of Economy and Commerce of the Kyrgyz Republic, working on standardization in the Republic of Kyrgyzstan. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you properly. I'm really glad to see you, to greet you in the framework of Kazan Summit 2024. Thank you so much, dear colleagues, for previous presentations, for your reports. It was really interesting to listen to you. Of course, there are a lot of work has been done in the field of standardization in the petrochemical industry. Dear colleagues, today I would like to review the current situation in my country and present you my report on the standardization situation in Kyrgyz Republic. Dear colleagues, forming the system of standardization and regulation is not an easy process. Government organs, business enterprises are working together to form this system. And also we are working on the basis of scientific researches, and the crucial part in the realization of this system, of course, it is for business enterprises. Preparing technical regulations is not an easy process, and we are actively working together with our business companies, preparing all the necessary documents for technical regulations. We are working on current regulations and on the future forming regulations. This process playing big part in the economy, in consuming, in trade. The first example I'd like to show. So national standards can have the unified requirements and lead to increasing the quality of the products. The second point, technical regulations help us to form the requirements and to protect the consumers. The third point is that we can reduce the technical barriers in the international trade. Of course, technical regulations stimulating innovation, new technologies, and the last point is standardized technical regulation help us to develop stable economy, and we make our economy more efficient and energy and resource saving. Dear colleagues, I would like to mention also that it is very important to integrate the market and to protect our consumers from from dangerous products that have been imported to our country without against all the regulations. Also, I would like to point out that we need to fixate all the documents and properly control the accreditation. This sphere should be clear and transparent, and government should control this moment. And also I'd like to mention that this is our joint goal for increasing the trust of our population, of our consumers, and this will help us to successfully develop our economy. Eurasian Economic Union understand that we need to make a competitive product and we need to increase the infrastructure of quality. We need to increase the potential of our infrastructure. I hope that our economy will be transformed but will not lose its crucial moments, and we will protect the quality of the products. I hope that metrology accreditation organs will join us, and I hope that digital platform for controlling in the regulation will help us and bring us a new prosperity for future. Thank you so much. Can you check please if Uzbekistan has connected? Unfortunately, no. There are some technical difficulties. I would like to thank all of their guests being here. Thank you so much for organizers, for this platform. See you soon. Goodbye. Thank you.